The news these days is overflowing with stories about redistricting. Everywhere you look, there are articles, debates, lawsuits, accusations, groups claiming foul play, insisting the process is being manipulated, and everyone is fighting over lines on a map. And the reason is simple. Those lines will determine who controls Congress. The stakes are enormous and everyone knows it. But before all of the fights began, something much quieter happened. Something foundational. Something that doesn't make headlines in the same dramatic way, but without it, none of the rest would even exist. And that is the census. In America, every 10 years, the country counts how many people live in each state. And based on that number, congressional seats are distributed. States gain seats, states lose seats, and only then does the messy process of drawing district lines begin. And if you've ever tried to understand redistricting, you know it's not simple. And if I'm honest, I tell you, I don't understand it myself. And judging by the endless lawsuits, it seems like I'm in good company. But the census itself, that's where things get interesting. Because while the census seems like a simple head count, it actually carries a deep and powerful message about how we see ourselves and how we see each other. We live in a world built on hierarchies. Everywhere we turn, society ranks people. In academia, the person with a degree is valued more than the person without one. The PhD is admired more than the person who never went to college. In business, the CEO is seen as more important than the secretary. The millionaire is admired more than the person stocking shelves in the grocery store. And whether we admit it or not, we constantly judge people by their job, their income, their education, their looks, their talent, their background, or their ancestry. We assign value based on what people do or what they have. And if we're honest with ourselves, we notice how we do this all the time. We size up people in seconds. We decide who's successful and who's important, who's worth listening to and who's not. It's almost automatic. And then the census arrives, and suddenly the entire system flips upside down. For in the census, every person counts as exactly one, not more, not less. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or unemployed. It doesn't matter if you're a professor or a janitor. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO or a cashier. You count the same as the president, the same as the world's greatest scientist, the same as the most celebrated artist or athlete. Everyone is counted, and everyone counts equally. Think about how radical that is. In a society obsessed with ranking people, the census says you matter and you count exactly as much as anyone else. This is such a beautiful and powerful idea. And with this in mind, we can understand why God instructs Moshe Rabbeinu to take a census of the Jewish people. God doesn't need a head count. He knows exactly how many we are. He knows every soul, every life, every heartbeat. After all, He created us and sustains us every split second. The census is not for God. The census is for us. It's God's way of showing us our value. Each of us is counted individually because each of us matters individually. Not because of our achievements, not because of our successes or our failures, not because of our talents or our accomplishments, but because of who we are. Every Jew is the one and only child of God. Every Jew is the apple of God's eye. Our worth is inherent, it's infinite, and it's equal. And when God commands a census, He's declaring publicly for everyone to know that every one of you count, every one of you matter the same to me. And this may also be the reason why we read this Parsha, Parshas Bamidbar, the story of the census before the holiday of Shavuos. Shavuos is the holiday of unity, Achdus, the moment when the Jewish people stood together as one to receive the Holy Torah at Sinai. But unity doesn't begin with sameness. Unity begins with recognizing the equal worth of every person. And only when we understand our own value and the value of our fellow Jews can we truly stand together as one, ki ish echad b'lev echad. This is the prerequisite for receiving the Torah. Next Friday, we will celebrate Shavuos and we will receive the Torah anew. Our preparation begins now, not only with baking cheesecake, but with something far more fundamental, Recognize who I am, who my fellow Jew is, and how precious each and every one of us are in Almighty God's eyes. Through the census, we learn this truth. Every one of us counts as just one. And this is the takeaway. In a world obsessed with ranking people, the census in this week's Parsha, Parshas Bamidbar, reminds us that your worth is not measured by your achievements or your status. Your worth is inherent. You matter and you count, and so do every person around you. I wish you a good Shabbos. Kabbalah Satorah B'Simcho B'Pnimius.